say whatever.
Well, you can, but no. Megan told me I couldn't cuss on Sirius. She said,
Potty mouth.
Good, don't shit. They want to leave you on.
Well, sir, you can say whatever the hell you want
Yeah,
here. It's an open policy.
Oh, great.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's no intro. Rooster McConaughey, how are you, sir?
Already.
Don't tell me I can say anything I want to say. If I was talking about somebody else, I swear.
And also his partner, Butch Gilliam, is here. Gentlemen, these are my favorite interviews because I get to talk to people who are way more manly than I will ever be. So it gives me a chance to find out what it is and what it's like to do manly stuff, manly work, and all the hard work that you guys have put into your careers, into your investments and all that. I don't even know where to start here. I guess, how did you guys get started? Like, I know you guys are self-made, but to go into the fields that you did with oil and cattle and steel and all that stuff, how do you just jump right into that?
Well, out there where we're from, both of us started really at a young age, in our teens. And,
right.
I was working, doing stuff with my dad even earlier than that. And he started in the shop and we just kept doing it. And we learned we learned the business. We started from the bottom, and eventually we had enough money to do some things. And I went completely broke one time, a couple times probably, but on paper,
right.
Really did it good on paper once. And so we learned from our experiences. Both of us have learned from our experiences through the years. And I like to say we found out what not to do.
That's usually
before we found out what to do.
Usually the most successful people are not the guys that came from trust funds or came from money. They're the guys who made money or came from money and lost the money and picked themselves up and rebuilt it again. So this is pretty much what you went through by losing it and figuring out what not to do, and then say, all right, I'm going to try it again and do it all right.
Right, exactly. We had to start, I started all over and just took it from there.
With growing up in Texas, did you not have it like other people usually do, where they want to get out of the small towns and get out of from where they live and maybe go to a city or something that's more attractive as far as a career goes, instead of industrial stuff, farmhand stuff, things along those lines?
I did a bunch of different. I had a lot of fun in between a bunch of times. I had a lot of fun. When like I was just working the whole time, I had a lot of fun. I burned it on both ends.
What kind of jobs did you do?
Well, it was always related to the oil field mainly.
Yeah.
But I was having a lot of fun. And in the oil field, and when you say, but you can have a lot of fun.
Back when we were young in the oil field that we knew back then, it was so much fun. You worked really, really hard, but you played really, really hard too. Not like that anymore. Totally different outlook on the oil field anymore. It's so much more regimented and controlled and safety, and which is a good thing, but
right.
It's just totally different than what it used to be.
Not as much romance.
No.
People are in it strictly for the money. Back with the guys that taught us were in it for the romance. The old men they did it because that was what they did. They were proud. It's what they did. They would actually go broke. And back then when you went broke, you went broke. You didn't have a LLC that took care of you. And
you had no bailouts.
You bailed. You moved in a small apartment. People go broke. People would go bankrupt today and fly to their court in a Learjet. For their court date. Going broke is totally different than going broke the way it used to be. We got taught by the guys that knew how to go broke, and nowadays it's a whole different deal.
So are you the last of this kind of breed here, as far as where you started from, doing it for, like you said, the romance of it?
And even the romance in the oil field has gone for us some, and that's part of, could be part of the reason that we're wanting to do this. We're wanting to show people, pass something along that was done for us, people that believed in us.
Right.
We're wanting to show that it's not only the money, it's having somebody believe in you.
That's interesting that you guys have that, because I could say a lot of people, when they make their money and they make really good money, they're pretty much self-contained in their own world, and the rest of the world and humanity does not matter to them. Yeah, they may invest in a charity just to show publicly that they're doing something, but they really don't care about helping other people. It's all about maintaining their fortune and living their life. And you guys are, I hate the term pay it forward, but it's pretty much really what it is. You guys had a lot of help. You said ups and downs, got on your feet, built this whole thing up, and now you're trying to return the favor to somebody else.
That's exactly what we're trying to do.
He does give away a lot of money. I'm not going to tell him.
Well,
he got a lot of triggers today. I'm not going to tell him. In fact, I'll name them all so people start calling.
We enjoy helping people and showing people the things that we've learned over the years,
right?
That could be helpful to them in new businesses, and I'll say it again. More importantly, maybe we can show them what not to do. But yeah, we've all had help along the way, and it's fun. It's fun to see someone succeed. It's such a sad thing when you look around and see that some people get the most pleasure out of watching someone else fail.
Yeah.
Well, that ain't me and Rooster. We get a big kick out of watching someone succeed, and even a bigger kick if we can somehow, whether it be money or just a word of encouragement,
right,
help them to succeed and realize their goals.
Was this whole concept, was this something you guys were kicking around for a while, or did somebody approach you and say, hey, we have this idea? It's sort of Shark Tankish, but not really.
Charlie and Jason came and talked to us about the way we did stuff. And then they really got to looking and said, y'all, that's what y'all do. And he and I have been doing it like this for years. And so when they got there, we sat down and talked about how we do business. And they said, man, that'd be a great thing to show, to show the world and hopefully entertain people while doing it.
I think Charlie and Jason may have noticed that, when we engage in business, we're going to have some fun with it.
Right.
And if you can't do that, if you can't work hard at a job and dedicate your heart, mind, body, and soul to it and still have some fun with it, then you're doing something wrong.
I know there's something to be said for, putting in the hard work and the time, but where do you find the balance as far as somebody you want to invest in where they're a hard worker, then also they're a smart worker too? Because you could work really hard and still not get anywhere. But if you work harder, it helps make things a lot easier. Where do you balance this out as far as the people you're choosing?
Well, we can help them on being smarter as far as, and you're exactly right. I mean, hard work. Smart working is also hard work.
Right.
You just you got more time after you're done working sometimes. And I think a lot of times, I don't see anything wrong with thinking about your job 24 hours a day myself. I mean, that doesn't mean you can't have fun, but I mean, you can take a job like we're talking about. You can be doing something that other people don't think is fun, but you can also make it fun. Otherwise, if you can't, then you need to be doing something else. I mean, if you wake up every morning and you hate your work, well, you need to be doing something else.
Right. So it's the difference between a job and a career and a passion. So you think about your work 24 hours a day?
I actually think about something that my work. My mind is on 24-hour call. I'm not thinking about it just all day long. But I mean, I carry notes. If I have a thought in the middle of the night, I wake up and write it down. Or if I have a thought in the middle of the day, I wake up and write it down.
Does that drive you nuts if you're like, for both of you, if you're going to bed and you said you have a notepad and stuff, and a lot of creative people always have a notepad in their pocket, or nowadays the note section is on their phone there. But to go to bed when you're constantly always thinking about this stuff, whether you're acting on it or not, to just lay there and try to turn off, like your mind's still constantly going with everything that you could have done that day, or other stuff's popping in that you got to do tomorrow, or something that you never even thought of. How do you turn that off and relax?
You drink enough beer.
You drink a lot of beer.
If you can drink enough beer, you can make it till about 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
and then you better have your notepad.
It's real easy. Just start drinking when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah. What's the beer of choice for you guys?
Of course,
Miller Lite.
Miller Lite.
He named his kid Miller Lite. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know you.
I mean, his kid is named Miller Lite.
And the girl's Margarita Olympia.
His daughter is Margarita Olympia.
Got to switch it up. You can't just beer it all the time.
I mean,
well,
come on.
No, right? Olympia's the name of a beer.
Got to, mix it up a little bit, right?
So if you have a third kid, what name do you have reserved?
Man, I can't have. I mean, look at me. I mean, come on, man.
I think Harvey. How about Harvey Wallbanger?
Yeah, no. What did he tell me was going to be? I had a priest tell me one time. He says, Rooster, he says, if you have another kid, I want you to name him Chance. And I said, why? Because chances are it's not yours.
There you go. No, that's interesting that you go with a bigger name beer, because my experiences with people from Texas with drinking down there, they're very proud of Texas-based beers, like Shiner Bock, things like that. So to go with the Miller, it was a little interesting to hear.
Yeah, I think they got a brewery down there somewhere by now. I mean, the thing is, you go out of the country and they don't have your beer. That's when it's bad. I mean, they ain't gonna have Shiner Bock in Brazil,
right?
So you got to drink something that everybody, that you can find everywhere.
And I know she have a cigar there too. What's your cigar choice?
I just chew up.
He finds them laying on the street, picks them up.
Portofino Macanudos.
Oh, really? Yeah. Had I known, I have a couple.
You do?
Yeah. My dad gets a lot of the Macanudos, the Monte Cristos, a whole bunch of stuff from golf tournaments, and he doesn't smoke anymore, so they're just piling up. Had I known, I would have brought you a box.
I just chew them myself.
I'll get your information from your publicist here, and I'll send you something.
Damn right. Hell, I didn't know we were gonna get something. Shit.
Already.
I don't need anything. I just need them out of my house. So rather than go to somebody that
you
would
got them in a humidor.
They're in humidors. I have multiple humidors, and some of them are still sealed, air sealed, which are also in a humidor. So that like in a cedar box kind of thing. So they're good to go.
I'll take
some are locked in tubes, airtight, ready.
I'll take them.
The show is West Texas Investors Club, Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. on CNBC here. I'm talking with Rooster and Butch. How did you get, I'm sure everybody's asked, how did the Rooster name come around?
Trying to think of a short version. I guess it's because I got a little pecker. No,
it's remember a drunk named you that in a bar when you was passed out in the bathroom floor.
That wasn't it. Actually, I did. I used to get up real early in the morning when I was in the 70s, and I had a spike haircut back before punk rock was in, and I did a little jig everywhere I went. And I always woke up at daylight. He and I had a drinking contest one night. Went to bed about 4 o'clock in the morning. He says, hey, who's going to wake me up? I said, come on, man. I wake up at daylight to make a difference around a coal mine. I wake up at sunup. All right, well, you got it. Well, he had to be somewhere about 8 o'clock. Well, about 9 o'clock, man, for some reason I didn't. That's one of the few times I've slept good.
Yeah.
And I went in there and shook him up. And I said, hey, man. He said, what time? I said, 9 o'clock. He looked up and said, you rooster motherfucker. And that's
all it takes.
And I actually didn't take it with me when I moved to Midland, and he showed up at my bar and saw me in there and said, hey, Rooster, and they all said, that's who you are. So I never could get rid of it.
On the show, what were some of the, I'd say, more disappointing presentations that were put in front of you? Like something maybe you thought had potential and it just kind of...
There was one particular guy that came in that, he had something that might have had a little potential.
Really a pretty good idea.
But the most, without going into big detail, but the most disappointing thing about it is he was just such a prick, and just totally could not deal with him. Could just off the charts.
Was it ego or was he just an asshole?
Yeah.
Oh,
asshole,
he
was. Ego, asshole, whatever you want to call it.
He worshipped his
and you know what? We at the end of the deal. I talked to Rooster. I said, Rooster, do you want to invest? He said, Rooster said, I like this idea. I want to invest. I said, all right, let's do this. I'll go with you on it if the guy doesn't dig a hole and jump in it. Because I know he's going to. He's going to come in here. He's going to show his ass just like he has before. And if he doesn't do that, we'll go with him. He had an investment coming. And he dug a hole and he jumped right in just like I said he would.
Yeah, I mean, you could, and he was obsessed with this idea. I mean, we were like, God dang, man. It's just an idea. I mean, he's like, oh no, don't you talk bad about. And we never talked about it, so you could do. Oh no, well, I know that, and I'm trying not to give the thing away, but I mean, it was like, I mean, you could have called all his kids hair lipped and it wouldn't have bothered him as much as by God, you'd have said something bad about his dadgum idea. I mean, he just was obsessed with it.
Obsessed.
And we got to tease him, going, hey man, come on, So we tried to approach it. Said, listen, so you've got an aggressive personality. Yeah. Maybe we could take over what the part of it, the sale,
right.
And he said, you're not taking over. I mean, hey, he got it going.
You asked a question a while ago. How do we select these entrepreneurs? How do we get to know their character? And that's what we do. We put these little tests for them to do, maybe some chores, some work to do, or something that they had to perform,
right?
And just show us something about them. And he failed on all counts.
Well, we're not going to say what the deal was,
but it's highlighted in the show.
But
you'll see it in the show.
We shot it. We did shoot him up with some shotguns one time, and that kind of upset him. Oh, yeah. And that
you'll see it in the show.
He walks up and we're blowing him away, Well, We paid for him. I mean, he wasn't, but he was upset.
Why not?
We're like, hey, man,
we got to do something.
Hey, we bought him. We can do whatever we want to. We'll buy some more.
You just wasted our time.
You can't. How dare you do that to my invention? I'm like, God dang, we paid for it. I mean, we'll do what the hell we want to with it. I mean, just upset him. I mean, really.
But that's a great example of the fact that even though you may have a good product, if you got a bad partner, it's not going to work.
So there's so many different factors to make these things work.
Oh yeah.
Right.
The person's got to be right first and foremost. Right. The person has to be right because the wrong person could wreck Coca-Cola. The greatest business in the world can be wrecked by the wrong person.
Do you guys have that ability to sense before they even talk? And when they come in, just maybe it's their body language or the way they approach you with their item or whatever, that you can tell, like, all right, I'm sensing something here that this may not go right. And then the second they start talking, you're like, yeah, I don't think this guy's either on the up and up, or I don't think this is going to work.
Well, if they don't notice Big Mike when they walk in the door,
right,
or Bear, that's the first tip off.
He's 11 foot tall, and he's right there when you walk in the door.
So if he doesn't look at him and have any kind of reaction, you know this guy's kind of dead inside or something. He's like, this is not going to work.
And we got that from some witch doctor. But Gil's a big part of it, the bearded guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I
love him.
He actually spends more time with him, and we consult him.
Gil's the first thing they see when they get off the plane is Gil.
Because he has that cane that he has, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right away there, it's like, all right, this guy's going to be fun.
He's our singing cowboy buddy.
And this first episode, you will see it's a perfect example of us going into the deal strictly because of the person. Because we don't know nothing about what he presents us.
Well, one of the things I liked that I saw in the first episode when you were doing the Speedy tab is that you guys wanted to implicate it. You said, okay, it's not enough that he was selling you on this and the potential that you thought it had. He's like, all right, let's try this out. And you go down to the bar and grill there.
Exactly.
And with, by the way, smoking hot girls there with all the different hair colors, pink, purple, and everything there, and trying out the thing, and won't give away what happened.
Cotton candy machine, I think.
Well, I won't give away what happened, but you guys were putting it into effect and then going around getting people's reviews. It's like, you just used this. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
And I think that's a great angle to do this with, as compared to Shark Tank stuff, where they're just. It's a very icy cold room when they walk in. It's like you automatically feel they're going to hate you, and they just want to buy whatever, get their piece of their money out of you. And you guys are like, show me what you got. I want to believe in this. Yeah, and it has a friendlier vibe.
We want it to be. That's why we do those scenarios, those deals. We want it to be a level playing field for the person. It's just not fair when you walk in and you got two guys sitting across the desk. I mean, you've gone and called on somebody before and had to sit down with an interview, a job interview, anything
interns
like that.
Here,
and you're like, so the guy's sitting in his safety zone, sitting there, and you got to sit across from it. We want them to be able to feel one-on-one with us, to feel equal to us, to talk to us the way they want to get them on the same. We want to be on the same playing field with them, to bring out to bring it out,
bring out the best in it.
Yeah, we got to have some time. First impressions, unfortunately, most of the time are wrong. I think for a lot of us. So we want to give them time to let
relax.
us see
feel it out and see what he's all about.
See what they're really all about.
You said you've been doing this for a long time, and this won't spoil anything for the show, but can you give me an example of one of the more surprising or positive achievements that you had as far as doing what you're doing here with helping somebody out?
Oh, and you're talking about in our businesses before?
Yeah.
Well, that's.
He and I got into a deal one time with a friend of ours, a real close friend of ours, and it was an oil deal. And, the oil field in West Texas is either up high, or it's down low. Right now it's back in another low. And we jumped in on this deal when it was real high. And then as soon as we invested quite a bit of money, it went south, went real low again. And we thought we were going to lose it all. And, we just... In the example we're trying to make to some of these young entrepreneurs, we stuck with it, stayed the course, patience, and just believe in what you're doing, keep working. Thing turned back around, and we turned out making a really good deal.
And we were good people on that deal that came back in, and they've done exceptionally well.
They were great partners.
Because they're great guys, and we've done stuff with certain oil field things like, Butch and I got him some people in the fiberglass rod business. And I mean, that thing is gonna turn out well, I mean, because it's a good guy, a good, honest guy. We don't have to do nothing hardly. I mean, that's how good the guy is. I mean, that's not to say, I mean, if this guy was to do something wrong, I mean, it's going to hurt our faith in humanity for a bit. But I mean, there's certain people you get in with that you don't have to do anything. I mean, they're that good of people. And then there's some you got to keep an eye on that, that we misjudged, but in which that's happened. I mean, we're not total. We've made a lot of mistakes on people, and I'm sure we will. Like I say, we're not mind readers. We're just going from the gut.
Right. Is it really mistakes though? I mean, with all your good intentions and what you're trying to do, it's really more just disappointments in people, not mistakes on your part, right?
Well,
it's a mistake because we picked the wrong guy.
Right.
The worst deals I've ever gotten into was somebody else's idea, not mine. So that's the thing I would caution people about is, be careful. You think of it when you think of a dangerous person that's coming to take what you have away from you. You think of a mask or a ski mask or something over their head. But I've found out in life that some of the most dangerous people that's going to take what you got away from you wears nice suits and nice dresses.
And
you said it with a straight face.
We feel comfortable. You got a T-shirt on.
Yeah, I know.
Real nice suits and real
10
nice
o'clock
dresses. Huh?
Tuesday.
10 o'clock Tuesday.
So great to wear whatever you want and be your own boss, ain't it?
CNBC, yeah.
I think I'm running out of time with you here, so just a couple of really quick things. It's usually always said, as far as money and finance goes, that you don't lend money to family and friends, that kind of thing like that. Have you had that experience, or has that been like, no, that's how we built everything, through family and friends?
Butch has a saying. He says, "You're better off giving it to them
and just letting it go."
Yeah. If you have any hopes of ever getting your money back, give it to them. Don't loan it to them.
Smart advice, I guess. For people who don't know, with Texas, where is the line that separates east and west? Like, because depending what town you're in, it's like sometimes like, well, that's not really east. It's close.
In your rear view mirror or in the front.
I guess it's a dumb question on my part. Then, not being from the area, I just assumed that there was some kind of county line or something like that saying, no, that's east, that's west.
There's a lot of people claim they're in the heart of Texas.
Right.
And everything. Have you ever noticed that, Butch?
Yeah.
That's right. The heart of Texas. Right. He's in the heart of Texas. The heart of the dairy country. The heart of this. Everybody. There's a lot of. I guess there's a big. Hell, I don't know where it is.
If you find out, would you call us and tell us?
Would you? We're going to work on that one for you.
If you guys don't know, how the hell am I going to find out?
I don't know. Good God. Hell, I got to save that question.
Let me write that down.
Last question for you, gentlemen. The show is West Texas Investors Club. It's on CNBC, Tuesdays, 10 p.m. on CNBC. With all your success and everything that you're doing here, do you think in your lifetime there's a chance to see billionaire status? Or do you even want, or does it even matter?
No, not my goal.
No, when you get, here's how it works.
We keep doing this, we're never going to make it.
If you're fortunate enough to make some money in your young life, you'll spend about half your life working your ass off, trying to make all the money you can, and then you'll find out one day that, you know what, I got to start giving this shit away. So you spend the other half of your life trying to give it away, or trying to find a way to keep some of it and hand it down, and that's the way it works. Some point in time, you got to stop and face that.
If they ever take the inheritance tax off, I'm gonna work a hell of a lot harder.
Me too.
I guess the last thing would be here then, when did you realize, because you said, you work hard, you play hard and stuff. When did you feel that you hit that point in your lives where I've made enough money to live comfortably, I made enough money to help my family and pass it down to my children, and now I'm using the rest of this to help other people out? When do you have that mindset where you go, I'm okay where I am in life, and now I can start helping everybody else?
Well, I went out and got a huge life insurance policy before I got on the show.
Your point is?
Just in case I lose it all.
What about for you?
I've never thought in terms of how much money that I have. It's just, to me, I'm just staying active and trying to do something positive, and really money I don't even think about it.
Well, you too.
Just being busy.
He always says, "Let me."
I went home. I mean, when I sold my business, I was it went sudden, and I went home and started watching TV, and there's only so many episodes of Family Feud, and so I contemplated hanging myself, and I've got to go back to work. So, it's just you got to be busy doing something. So that's what it's about for me.
Well, gentlemen,
I thought you were going to tell the Cheeto story. I'm glad.
Well, I was going to tell the Cheeto story, but
now you have to tell the Cheeto story. Is it quick or no?
Well,
no.
Well, really, here's the truth. I went home and I started watching TV and eating Cheetos, and then something turned orange on me.
Oh no!
And I thought, oh, God, I went to the doctor. He said, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, I've lost my job, and all I do is sit around, watch TV, and eat Cheetos." And he said, "You need to go back to work." So that's why I'm here. What I'm doing this for.
That was his paying it forward to you.
Yeah.
Rooster McConaughey and Butch Gilliam, thank you so much. West Texas Investors Club, Thursdays, 10 p.m. on CNBC. Guys, thank you so much. This was really great to talk to you. How great was it to have an interview where nobody asked you about your family?
What?
It was?
Yeah.
Good. I tried
now
to do
we'll
that.
talk. Now we'll talk about it.
Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate
it.
it.
Thank you.
You got money, honey.